Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Pressure fermentation follow-up, brewing with Kveik, and taste testing our Pilsners and IPA. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 289. Well, hello there, and welcome to the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call or text them in by using 325-305-6107. I am your host, Joshua Stubing, and I have a plethora of guests here today, starting with the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com, Mr. James Carlson, the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns, and our buddy, Pressure Fermentation Guru, bringing us into the 21st century, the 22nd century, dare I say, Mr. Jonathan Marut. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Let me fade that out. Y'all can interact now. You're unmuted.
Okay.
We can all talk. We have...
Thanks for having us here today, Josh.
Thank you for joining me at the beautiful Burns Barn Brewery. I'm a man, I love alliteration, and I always mess that up. Burns Barn Brewery on this beautiful hot, what is it, 111 today? What did they say it was getting to?
107. And you know what room we're in? It says it right there on the screen.
We are in the Homebrew Happy Hour tasting room at the
and literally today, right?
Literally today. You're right. We if you remember, friends, we posted on our social. We've talked about it on the on our episodes before. We did a brew day with Mr. Marut over here. We did a Sterling Pilsner and we did a Kveik IPA. And the thought behind the Pilsner was, okay, we're going to split this 15-gallon batch up into three. We're going to do one using Kveik strain Loki, and we're going to put it in the closet at 65 degrees.
Carefully label it.
Carefully label it to not ever mix it up. And then also we're going to do a Loki under pressure and in the hot garage. Carefully labeled.
Yes.
And then we're going to do a 3470, which is a traditional lager, a dry yeast.
It's not a 3470.
Is that the 34? Yeah,
4570.
I've been saying it wrong for years.
We had no idea you were saying it wrong for years either. That's the best part.
Neither did I.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's a 3470, y'all.
Yeah, 3470. Your mic it was falling.
It's the West something.
Can it keep
West
on? There we go.
Stein,
now talk.
I got the name of the
test.
Hey, booyah. Now we're going. I was like, hey, why can't I hear him? And the 3470 or the 3870 or the 38 loosely or special, whatever that band was too, in the heat under pressure. And I'll just do the spoiler. Todd, you already ruined it. But we did mix up all the labels when it got time to transfer into secondaries. I don't know how it happened. You said it's my fault.
Yes.
Because I was in the vicinity. Like I was here, but
you were helping me do the label part, right?
I was not here. I was not here.
Every episode we've ever done where I try to take claim for something goes, you didn't even help. You did nothing. The time.
See, and now I'm wondering if maybe it was a good thing you didn't help.
So it really is a blind taste.
So it was. I will admit, it was almost certainly my fault, not Josh. Poor Josh is innocent this time, and I admit that.
No, but I do like I did just set myself up. You're like, yeah, this is the one time I let you help, and look what you did. I do before we get to the tasting, which is why Jonathan came up. So I won't drag this on too long, but I do want to do kind of a recap. What we were trying to accomplish was you were just showing us how, hey, you can make good beer and turn it around quick under pressure. Now you did get to try some of his samples that he brought up already.
Good, really good.
And we've already determined, oh my God, like this is incredible.
Amazing. I'm going to do one Friday.
Cool.
Yeah, he's going to do one on.
But I'll give you. I'll bet you can't tell. You don't know what kind of beer I'm going to brew.
Is that the bet? I like
Would that be the Kolsch, perhaps?
No,
No?
no. It might be a Pils. You never know. It might
He hasn't brewed Kolsch in a long time, right?
a year or so. Yeah.
Has it been a year?
Yeah, I've brewed more alt beer than I have Kolsch in the last year.
Yeah, he brews a lot of Pilsners.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, which I'm
Ad nauseum.
which we're happy about, though. Goodness, they turn out great. So, real quick, too, the gear that we used. Well, actually, you know what? Before I did all to that, I don't have it on the screen right now. But when I edit this, because I do edit it, believe it or not, guys. It is for the month of July. You can brew this recipe. We're drinking one of them, at least, the Kveik Smash IPA. Look at that artwork. I don't even have it on the screen. I can't even fake it. But I'm telling you guys, it looks good. And we're going to tell you that it tastes good. I got to taste most of these yesterday, Todd, while we were forced carbonating.
Yeah.
I liked most of them. Even when we did the blind taste test and we're like, we don't actually know what this one is. I didn't have a bad thing to say about any of them, like not a detrimentally bad thing to say.
Right.
So that's what I'm anticipating today too. I have no idea. But anyways, if you want to brew the recipe, one of the recipes we're talking about today, the Kveik Smash IPA, it's not too late. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join one of our recipe receiving tiers. I'll reach out to you. You also, when you're a first time in the Chub Club at those levels, you get a premium welcome pack with a shirt, a pint glass. We need to reorder your famous stickers. We don't have any right
Yeah,
now.
we're gonna do like a 4 or 5 pack.
That's what we wanted.
You're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a lot of goodies. We've had a couple people join this month, which is surprising because in the summers when people
Yeah, that's usually when you
so
lose.
they drop out because they're like, I don't want to brew. It's so hot. Then this episode kind of segues to that. Like you can still brew when it's hot. Maybe not be enjoyable, but you can still pump out good beer, even if you ferment hot. It's wild. I'm still getting my head wrapped around it. Okay, but back to the episode. We used, and one of the vessels was a Fermenter King. That's from Kegland through Anvil. Anvil's their distributor in North America, or maybe just the U.S. It had a ton of headspace on it, but it worked out good. That was one of the reasons why we had it was the 3470. And the reason we had the under pressure was because it had so much headspace, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be warm and under pressure, and we hadn't tested the fermenter. It was the very first time we used it, so we didn't know if it was going to leak. So we just went ahead and put it under some pressure to make sure that it would hold, that it would actually ferment under pressure.
Right.
And it seems like it did.
It seems like it went good. Yeah, we didn't. It was my fault. I didn't do a properly thorough leak test on it because I should have assembled it before 5 minutes before we used it. But no one's ever accused me of prior proper planning. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Think about it that way.
So we use that. We use the Spike Flex Plus. We're huge fans of Spike. We actually have any of y'all used that one yet, or was it the first time it got used?
We've used it before.
Yeah, I haven't personally, but I think a couple of people at the office.
Okay, see, I didn't know because we don't normally brew in that small of batches, but it worked out great. That's
kind of fun to split them. I may do that again with something else.
So you liked that part of this experiment, the splitting up?
I like to brewing the whole 15 gallons, so you had 17 or half,
okay.
whatever it was, and then splitting them 3 ways. I think that's kind of fun to do, and then try different things with it.
Well, and also I've been surprised. He's already kind of gotten bit by the bug even before we're testing because you did another pressure fermentation.
I did.
And you did it in closet temps.
I did. Yeah.
Right. You didn't do it in the heat.
It was a 3470, not a 4570, which is a rifle caliber that Custard had in the last stand, but a 3470.
But a 3470, and that one's not quite kegged, right? That's in secondary.
Yes, that's correct.
How quick did that finish? Because it wasn't
Very quick.
Right, but it would have finished even quicker if it was even hotter, right?
It would have, yes.
Isn't that's wild?
It was so much fun to watch because, all the years I've been brewing, of course I've opened buckets and seen it happen, but with those, you're watching it as it looks like it's boiling, and it's a lava lamp. It's a beer. It's a wart lava lamp, and it was cool. I mean, you like looking at it? It's cool to watch.
It's a lava lamp. You sent us a video, I think, saying, "Look at my lava."
I just sat in the closet, drank beer, and watched it.
Yeah. It's like
That was my entertainment at night.
beer has the same effect on him as mushrooms have on people. Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. I promise, Mom. But anyway, so we used the Spike Flex Plus, the Fermenter King, and we used 2 buckets. Now, The 2 buckets are non-pressure because, as far as I know, you can't pressurize those plastic buckets, right? That's gonna be bad news for somebody.
You can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it won't be as messy as trying to over-pressurize a glass carboy, but it could get pretty bad in there. But anyway, so we did all that. I'm trying to think of other things we may have. We already admitted that we mislabeled and probably have no clue which pills is which. Does that kill the scientific part of this experiment? Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, here's how I think it's going to go down.
We got a spin here for you, people.
Yeah, we do. Hear me out. Here's my spin. Well, one, they were so all of them are so similar in color, you can't tell the difference. That's a check for me in regards to the experiment. Like, because what we're almost trying to prove at the end of the day is it comparable to the traditional style? It would doing it. Is it going to be comparable to the way we usually do it? And by color, yeah, they all turned out great. Using 3470 or Loki, I can't tell.
There was a difference in color, right? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there were. I didn't think there would be
same
any.
grain bill. There would be.
I would tell you. I wouldn't think there'd be any at all.
The taste too were all like, to me. I couldn't tell you the one that I said last night when we were forced carbing. Oh, this one was for sure 3470 because I think it has these characteristics that make up a clean lager finish. And Todd was like, no, I think it's this one, because he also taste tested as well during forced carb. So we're not going to agree on everything, but we're going to have a discussion on the Pilsners first, going over them, what y'all get from each one, discussing the pros and the cons of it, and then making your guesstimation as to which one you think it is. If it was the one, is the Sterling with Loki that was in the closet at 65 degrees, the Sterling with Loki in the garage under pressure and hot, and the Spike Flex, or the Spike Flex Plus, or the 3470 yeast under pressure in the garage in the fermenter king. So
let's get to it.
So let me start pouring y'all beer, I suppose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, I thought he was going to yammer on forever before we got a beer, you know?
That's not very nice.
Well, they were going to start singing a hymn, you know.
Yeah, y'all talk about
And
yes.
so the other beer that I brewed also was
The Sterling Pills.
also the Sterling Pills, but it was the one I brewed under pressure. I'm sorry, the one I brewed before. We're going to try that one at the end. That's also the Sterling Pills, but it was brewed traditionally.
Yeah.
As a lager.
Controlled, yeah.
I believe it was the same yeast, if I remember right. And then I also brewed another pressure fermented beer after all this happened.
Yeah.
And on that one, I used a product from More Beer, which is basically the same thing, except it doesn't have the collector on the bottom.
Okay.
But they do sell the one with a collector, so I guess both companies are selling that product. It's the same product.
Yeah, and if you want to collect yeast, that's the only way to do that.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Did you try throttling the?
I did.
compensator?
That's what took me so long. Is that going to be the biggest issue? Do I need to pour them out and retry?
Yeah. Let me try.
You want to take it with the knob?
The expert is going to.
Oh gosh.
Which one was it? The very first one?
Very first one.
Are we going to
Thanks,
get
sir.
are these? Are we not? Are we going to?
Or are you re-pouring?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm going to dump these
Right.
for you.
Right.
Oh well, don't dump them yet because it may not work.
I love a good organized episode of the show.
Well, I think
We got Gracie with us today, everybody.
I think you overcarbonated these, Josh.
Yeah.
Everything that goes wrong comes back to me somehow.
Oh, really? I've never noticed that. All right, give me. I'm going to need a couple more glasses, but I'm getting it here.
Oh my gosh, he's pouring like they do at the those fairs.
Well, we got this first one a little overcarbonated. Nothing we can do about it.
This is a riveting
And
television.
it probably got a little warm.
Why don't you talk about something else then?
A little warm in the line.
Yeah, let's talk about.
Flush the
Actually,
line.
it's pretty good.
Let's promote.
Mine is
The line.
decent.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we good? You think?
Yeah.
Because this isn't pouring. Yeah.
Todd, the ones that I poured are going to be fine.
Okay. As long as mine's good.
Y'all. All right. Well, y'all taste.
You get rid of
Y'all test. Y'all discuss. I'll
give that
get rid
to
of the other one.
Josh,
I'll get rid of the other one. Perfect. Thank you.
Number one. I
Yeah, number one.
think it's try the Sterling hop for the first time.
Yeah, I definitely don't get that same taste
It's got a good hop aroma.
on the Sterling.
That has really good hop aroma. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got good mouthfeel. It's a dry beer. Or crispy.
Here, I didn't
very
change the
crispy.
camera. Put it up to show the color, Mr. Carlson.
See, look at that.
Oh, no. That was perfect, man. You got it. See, you know production.
Yeah, I mean it's got the Pilsner grainness to it.
Yeah.
No diacetyl, none of that.
You want to pour the next one?
Yeah, while y'all are finishing that, that's a great idea.
Absolutely no flaws that I can taste.
Organization. I need what are these two over here?
But
I couldn't get them to pour.
the hop is it's
Like it's got a grassy note to it.
yeah, and I taste. We were talking about that earlier. It's
You said this one isn't quite the same as the other one. You can definitely
It does have a
tell
little pepper.
difference. Yeah.
A little.
just a
Yeah,
little.
it's not bad,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that it's obviously a different hop because that's the hop we happen to have around, and it's supposed to be a somewhat noble hop. It doesn't taste as noble as I was hoping.
Yeah, it's
It's not bad.
I like it. I mean,
Yeah,
I like that beer.
yeah. It's
very light beer.
Let me get us some water.
These things I just have to try them and compare. This the one you're saying is slightly different color.
Oh, and that glass, I should have rinsed better too. People
Offensive.
They call us out dirty glass.
Offensive, yes.
That's
Yeah.
EGM right there.
I don't see a whole lot of bubbles.
No, his was.
Oh,
No, I rinsed.
that's when you tap it
Yeah,
like
that's,
that.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
If you're before I take those photos, I'm like,
I had to take the valve off the thing so it would pour faster because the water out of the tap is about 120 degrees. So it's been
you're
hot.
already on number 2.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
There you go.
I don't care.
Cleanse your
He
palate.
wanted to make sure if you had water, if you wanted to
Oh yeah.
get the residuals. Palate.
I like to taste them in comparison.
Okay, the second one,
Oh, hold on.
real.
There you go. Go ahead.
Second one is really close to the first one on color.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we forgot to save some, but it's quite a bit different. Look.
The color.
No, it's out. That's light, dude.
Yeah, that's
That's lighting?
That was lighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's lighting.
But doesn't that one look lighter to you? It almost
a
looks like
tiny
a
bit.
haze.
But-
not enough to notice.
Hand it to James to show it in the camera.
Yeah.
Next to each other, please. No, the other one. The number 1. He has number 2 in his hand, and now showing number 1. The comparison. Number 1's on the camera.
Yeah.
It's on the right. and
Number 1, number 2, real close.
Very close.
Yeah.
Yep.
See? I'm gonna keep doing that.
Never gets old. All right, y'all are on number 2.
So it's amazing to me, but it's that one has a much less
Yeah.
hops, and it's exactly the same. There's absolutely no difference in
Yeah, it's got less
in the
hop
wort.
aroma.
Yeah,
It's the same
and less
wort.
grain too. I think.
Yeah.
Still, yeah. It's like number 1, but less, I would say.
Yeah, it's
No pepper.
toned down on everything.
Yeah.
It still has the same body and mouth.
Yeah, still dry and crisp. Yeah.
But the hop notes on the nose
Wow.
and on the bitterness is subdued.
Very subdued. I can't believe the difference.
I think I like this second one better. It's almost.
Then you go back to 1. See, that's why I keep some, because then you can go back.
And refer, yeah.
Yeah, because then it'll open up, and then you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. This is.
And we have another beer on the way.
Yeah, it's also pouring, so I'm good.
We probably the kegs probably warmed up too much when we were fixing the tap.
Well, and the lines.
We got to we started to pour these beers, and we realized that I left the faucets off and left it in the garage because I had it all cleaned out. We hadn't used that kegerator in a while, and it turns out dirt dobblers had made nests in each one of the shanks. So we had to take it all apart, clean it, and we had all the beer out. So it's probably a little warmer than it should be.
Yeah.
So lesson being, make sure you cover your end of your shank if you put it in the garage in Texas in the middle of summer, right?
Can you believe the tap water temperature? Over 90 degrees. This is the hottest summer I can remember since, what, 08?
I brewed in my garage yesterday.
Wow.
You're a brave man.
You are.
But I have a stock tank pool about 20 paces that way.
Yeah, it was
I wore my swimsuit and I just went and got in the pool like 5 times.
How hot was it there?
In my garage it was 106. My weather station said 112.
Wow.
Did you see England, Great Britain, the kind of... Wow. There's people out there dying for heat because they're just not used to over 40 degrees Celsius, which is over, what, 100?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Now, you can...
Number 3, my friend.
You could even pour number 4 if you want. That way we can start
number
talking.
4. Okay, sure. Number 4 is the control.
Control.
Oh, you don't have the camera switched on this one yet?
Hold on, let me get it switched over for you, my friend. Now it's ready for you.
Okay, so this is number 2?
Correct. Yes.
And then number 3, so you can see the
Those
color
two,
is
2 and 3 look the same color.
almost identical.
Yep.
So back to there. Let me get y'all's
Excuse me.
over here.
I can't smell anything on this one.
I don't either. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, that's got a little weird taste to it.
Wow. It's like, there's like virtually no bitterness in the...
Yeah.
This one almost tastes creamier to me than.
It almost tastes like a cream ale, like almost.
Yeah. It's even less, yeah. It's even less than 2.
But the bitterness is there.
Yeah.
It's almost like the carbonation, the carbonic acid is overwhelming the bitterness of the hops.
Yeah. It's got a little...
Wow, it's
Super dry.
very dry, very smooth though.
Control. Number 4.
So this is not from the same wort. This is a totally different brew, and this one we were using traditional lager temperatures to ferment
In a glycol system
in a glycol system.
using 3470. Same Sterling recipe, same
Oh my gosh.
same recipe, but no, elaborate on that, Jonathan.
Yeah. It's got a lot.
That's that peppery bitterness that...
It's weird how much the hops came out more in this one than the other ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, give your opinion.
Well, I mean, I think it's because when the fermentation is very vigorous, that some of that hop character is blown off through
scrubs
the
it
airlock.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CO2 can scrub off
Yeah.
the flavor and the aromatics.
So I think if you know about that, maybe you adjust your recipe a little bit for more hops, kind of.
I listen. Todd likes it. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I appreciate the vigorous fermentation, the effects of it on the experimental batches.
Yeah,
'Cause
you like
everything-
these too?
Yes, because
Yeah.
everything became much more subtle, it more clean.
You don't like this hop, basically.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't. I guess
You
I
don't care for it either.
I don't. But like I told Todd earlier, the brewing is spot on.
Oh, yeah.
Body is right.
Body's
The
right.
Look how clear it is.
Oh, yeah, there. Go ahead and hold it up there.
And I think if you was to substitute this with like a Spalter or a Hallertau or even a German Tradition, it would be a completely different beer.
You said something earlier, and I've never really noticed it as much until you said it, but now I really taste pepper.
Yeah, James calls it peppery, and which makes sense. Spicy. It's a little spicy. Can I tell them what the reviews of the hop said on Yakima Valley? What people were writing, they're calling it garlicky and oniony.
Yeah.
Like wet onion, I think is
it's a different hop for sure.
Yeah.
It's like
I like it. I like it a lot because I have 30 gallons of it to drink.
No, I got 5 gallons at home.
No,
you gave me.
I have 25 gallons.
All right. So before we move on to the IPAs, let's discuss y'all's 1 through. Let's start with number 1. What were some of the notes that y'all got from that? And if you had to guess how it was fermented, what would be your guess? We'll start with Jonathan.
I would guess the number 1 was 3470, and it has a lot of grainy and grassy flavors, but it's still very dry and crisp. A little bit of pepper, but not like 4. 4 is kind of like a lot.
Punch in the face.
Yeah.
Right. Todd, what do you think about number 1?
I said it's got a decent aroma. It's mild and crisp. Of course, I hadn't tried 2 and 3 yet, so after trying those 2, I realized that although it's mild, it's certain the other 2 are definitely milder.
How do you think it was fermented?
I have no idea.
Okay, James, what do you think about number 1?
It had a good hop aroma, kind of a grassy hop aroma. The body is really crispy and really the kind of beer you want in the summertime when you're hot and you want to quench your thirst. It had that Pilsner hoppiness to it. Probably my second favorite out of all of them.
How do you think it was fermented if you just had to guess?
Oh, I'm with you. 34.7.
You think it was okay, perfect. Number 2, Jonathan, what are your thoughts and how do you think it was fermented?
I think that was one of the Kveik ones, and I would say, what did we do the Kveik? We did hot, unpressurized, and we did hot.
No. Hot pressurized and closet 65 degrees.
Oh, okay. So I would say this is the hot pressurized. Nope. I would say that's unpressurized cold.
Okay.
Right?
So closet temps.
Closet.
Or it was not closet temps. It was at 65 degrees.
Yeah, 65. Yeah.
Using low key is what you're guessing.
That's my guess. Yeah.
Okay. Todd, what are your thoughts on number 2?
Very little hop flavor, very mild. It's a very drinkable beer. It'd be great around the pool. There's not a whole lot going on.
Any guess as to how it was fermented?
I've never pressure fermented until we did this, so I don't know that much about it. But if it suppresses, if we think the pressure suppresses the hop flavor, then I would have to say number 2 and number 3 would be those, if that's the theory we're going on.
Well, I think the higher temperatures, the more vigorous the fermentation blows off.
The heat is...
Then the first one would almost have to be 3470 because it was the only one that...
You could smell it both in aroma and taste pronounced.
Mm-hmm. So as far as which one was of the 2 that were... let's see, these were both... One of these was under pressure and one wasn't under pressure. So the only thing that they share in similarity is the heat, right?
The 2 of them, correct.
Yeah, the 2 and 3, if we're thinking that.
Yeah,
2 are hot, and 1 is cold.
That yes, of these 4, 2 were hot, and 1 was in glycol, and 1 was at 65 in the closet.
Okay, so my guess would have to be that
for number 2,
the absolute so number 2 would be the one that was not pressurized but was hot.
That's what you think. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Carlson, number 2, thoughts, and if you have a guess on how it was fermented.
I'd definitely say hot on that. I don't know. I changed it twice.
I love it. Yeah. Well, also, like Todd said, because we don't really know.
I don't know. I've never done this before, but I'm just going by what I've read and what people have said. So it's a crapshoot. I did notice a definite lower hop aroma, and the body was still the same. The hop bitterness was also less. So it's tough to say. I mean, the two differences between number 2 and number 3, if they are hot and one room, they're both pressurized, right?
The 2 hot were pressurized. Yes.
Yeah. So room, when you say hot, you mean room temp.
Garage.
Sorry. Two hot in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
1 at 65 in his room.
Okay, but there's 2 of them hot in one
Yes,
room.
sir.
Okay, so number 2 definitely hot, and because of the fact that we had talked earlier, the more vigorous the fermentation, the more that it'll scrub off the hop aromas. Mm-hmm. So I think definitely, and it's crispy, and the bitterness in the beer itself is diminished too. So
where did it rank in your favorite line of the 4?
I think that's my favorite out of all of them. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Number 3, back to the top of the lineup. Mr. Marut, what do you think about Sterling Pilsner Experimental Brew number 3?
Yeah, it's very creamy and smooth. I think it has a little bit of a fruity ester to it. And for that reason, I think it was a hot fermentation of the Loki yeast. That's my guess.
Hot, but pressurized or not pressurized?
Yes, because the 2 hot ones were pressurized.
They were both pressurized.
For the Sterling,
Okay.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
If we say hot, we're also saying
Same pressurized. Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
and I probably got that backwards because I said hot, and
No, but it's the same difference. Right now,
I'm going to say this one's room.
If it was hot, then that.
Oh, one was 3470 and one was Loki, and they're
that's
both hot.
Yes,
okay.
sir. That's right.
That's where I was.
So, what do you think about
confused
number
too.
3, Mr. Burns?
I couldn't smell any hop aroma at all. It was definitely, I tasted creamy, very smooth and creamy, and I got almost no bitters out of it. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
So, how would you then assume it was fermented based off of that?
I don't really know enough about it to know what
fair.
that does, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mr. Carlson,
It's crispy too. Virtually no hop aroma. The bitterness was considerably less. I would say room temp fermentation. Probably my 3rd favorite.
Yeah.
I would serve this to my friends at like Miller Lite.
what you say? Wait a minute. Are your friends watching and going like, "Wait, I thought he liked us"? So you're saying
I've never
It's
said
not bad, but it's not your.
I think it's a decent quaffable is overused, but it is. But it's
Is it overused?
for beer tasting. It is. But I would say that it is, and it's just there's not a lot. Like I said about the other beer, there's not a lot going on here, except there's even less going on here.
And
And sometimes could be a good.
Oh
thing,
yeah,
you know,
I mean for
but-
you guys, that's y'all love that.
Yeah, right.
So.
All right. Back to the top of the lineup. Number 4, our control. I mean, I can spoiler. That's the one we know what it is. It was fermented in the CF15. It's same recipe, but it was lager temps the whole time, cold crashed from grain to glass in a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. What did you turn out?
Yeah, I mean, I was in no hurry to
Right.
finish it, but it didn't take very long. It was pretty quick. Yeah.
So thoughts, Jonathan, on
Yeah, it's very similar to number 1, but it has a lot more of the greeny notes, the grassy notes. Yeah, it has a lot of hop character
yeah.
still. Yeah, so it kind of depends what you think of the hop.
the nicest way to put it? What a gentleman. Todd, what do you think about number 4?
I think that the same Miller Lite people, if they tried all 4 of those, they would go, "Oh God, that's hoppy."
lot, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be overbearing. It would be overbearing to some people.
Yeah.
And I think it is the hop. I've never brewed with that hop before. I wanted to try it, so I did. I said, "Why try it on a little batch? Let's do 30 gallons of it, right?"
Yeah, that's a little one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting hop. I don't necessarily dislike it, but it is. I like hoppy in your face flavors, so I'm enjoying it. But I don't know that I would, if I was trying to brew a Pilsner, if I would use that again. I might use it in something else.
Before we get to your thoughts on it, James, can you slide your thing over to James to hold in front of the camera? I want to show, because you're the only one who left some, so we could talk about it. I think it's lighting, but to me, those are all pretty much.
I mean, they're so close on color.
They're
I
so
see.
close.
The only one I see a big difference in is one,
You're right, of any difference, right?
but it's not really color. It's cloudy.
Yeah, it's clarity.
Clarity. Yeah. But which again, though, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. The color should have been the same because of the same grain bill and all that.
Same
Like the yeast shouldn't have made too big a difference
Yeah.
on the SRM, right?
Well, that's how we discovered that it was labeled wrong, is because I actually made a video that I will never show anybody, but I'll tell you how stupid I am. I had them all labeled and I put them all down and I was like, that is so weird. How did we brewed the same wort, brewed it 3 different ways, and one of them's much darker than the others? That is so weird. I don't see how that's even possible. I've been brewing forever. I didn't even know that you could change the color by the way you brewed. Well, you can't. That was the IPA, and we had it labeled wrong, right? But it took me a few minutes for the old wheels to roll around.
Oh, did it ever? I was on the other end of that phone call.
I was not there for all that.
Oh no, we won't drag you down with our mess ups.
So we have 2 IPAs.
Yeah, but before we get to that, let me tell you what these were labeled. I agree most of what he said for the assessment. The one you thought number 1 was the 3470. That's exactly what I thought as well. The label on it, though, is low T in the closet at 65. That's what the label was. I thought
that was 3470 in the closet.
No, 3470 was outside.
Oh, I thought it was in
Nope.
the closet. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So that was low key.
According to the label. I don't believe the label. That had such a
Yeah.
You don't know the finish I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I say crispiness, and that doesn't help. But like,
Yeah.
it has that.
Well, these two are related, clearly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that one's just.
And these two are related.
Right. So number 2, according to the label, which I don't believe as well, it was the Sterling with low T under pressure. So it was hot under pressure using low T, which I can believe that one. Pardon me. Number 2 and 3 could go back and forth with me, and I'd believe it.
Yeah, hot, cold. Yeah.
Yep.
I'd believe any of them.
Yeah,
Except for number 4.
Which,
Number 4, we know what that one is.
Which number 3 says on the label, it was the 3470 under pressure in the garage with garage temperatures, which, 90s and above. So
I messed all this.
So I would have
no.
So I would at this point we would almost have to agree that number 1 was in the closet because we think
no. I think number 1 was the 3470 under pressure.
Dude, that's amazing. That goes against everything we talked about, though, because we talked about heat, pressure,
but it's
suppressing.
No. The heat will drive
fermentation.
It will make fermentation happen, but
vigorous.
pressure holds that aroma and everything in. It's the balance.
So why would number 1 have all that aroma and all that flavor if
Because it was under pressure.
Right, he's saying it's like number 4, but it was subtle. It's a more subtle version of the one we know.
So it was 65 room temp?
No.
Garage.
What we're saying we think number 1 was, what Jonathan and I think.
Okay, but you said number 1 on the tag.
Yeah, but
Loki, it's
in the tag, but that's what we're saying at the beginning.
the tags don't mean anything because we know they're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Or we're fairly confident they're wrong.
I know. Yeah. Sorry for not.
We know 2 of them are wrong.
2 of them are wrong.
Well, no, 1 of them is wrong, and these 3 because 1 was IPA switched with something.
So this is a double blind taste test.
It's a double blind taste test.
Yes, I'm saying I agree with Jonathan's premise about why number 1 would be the 3470 under pressure. If to me, it's more traditional of the Pilsner characteristics, just subtle. It's just subtle.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much closer to 4 than it is to 2 and 3.
Right, which we know 4 use the same yeast and the same grain. So that's why I'm making that same correlation is why I think number 1 was out there. Now 2 and 3, I have no idea which one was in the closet.
I don't understand why the one in the closet that wasn't under pressure wouldn't have more flavor.
It wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I said 2 is the cold one and 3 is the hot one.
That's what he thinks. He thinks
That's
2 was your
That's
closet.
what I guess.
And also because he thinks the characteristics came out from the Loki are more present in that 2.
Well, 3 has that fruity ester.
Oh,
which
more
I
than
think,
2.
yeah, which I think was caused by the garage.
Yeah.
By the warm temperature.
Right.
Because we're kind of going under the assumption that I haven't used the Loki yeast before, but you said that you found online that Loki is similar to Voss.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
I have no idea. They didn't. Yeah, Imperial didn't tell me that. I had to go on forums and stuff. Our rep Casey's having her other child. Congratulations, by the way, Casey. And so she's on maternity leave. So I'm not bugging her.
Yeah.
That's my question.
So maybe there's somebody out there in the audience that would have an opinion too. Do you think? I bet.
Of what? Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a very opinionated audience community.
Yeah, we really are good. We don't have a whole lot of trolls.
No. Well, they are.
Amazing.
Sometimes they're in my inbox, but they're not bad. They're manageable.
If you bug them too much, they'll make you come down here.
I was being sarcastic. I think everybody's going to have an opinion.
Everybody. So, anyways, what I think the bigger picture of the first 3 y'all tasted, is that they're not so drastically different that we, even having you here, can definitively say, oh yeah, that was. I mean, I think number one is 3470, but I am absolutely.
I disagree.
Exactly.
I think they have an enormous difference in flavor.
Like drastic, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't get
Huge
like a
difference.
Okay.
I think it's
I
suddenly
think
stepped down
The difference.
from 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3.
To me, the difference in flavor between number 1 and number 3 is like night and
Well, I
day.
think okay. Well, I what I took from 3
Whoa.
was no pepper and a little bit of fruit, and that was the difference that I took from it. But I'm
that fruit.
I'm drastically paraphrasing it, but I didn't take anything else like, oh yeah, the mouthfeel, like all the base characteristics of it to me were like, this is from the same family. If I had my eyes closed, I'd be like, yes, this is that Sterling Pilsner. But you're saying like you think absolutely.
there's a lot of difference.
So then we have to do this again and not mislabel it so that we can definitively tell what is what.
But we could use a different hop, right?
Could we please?
So let's do that. Let's do the same grain bill, but we'll do a different hop, a noble hop.
Okay. And we have some
Yeah.
now, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you can use the same yeast for all of it.
Yeah.
And do, hot, cold pressure.
That's a
That's a
great
great
idea.
Hot, cold, no pressure.
Same yeast,
Yeah.
room temp, lager temp,
Yeah.
pressure
and
in
then
the
pressure.
garage.
Yeah.
Or do we do room pressure, hot
Oh, yeah.
pressure, and then
Absolutely.
lager?
Pressure and unpressure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put.
If you let this thing warm up and taste, oh my gosh. Let 3 warm up and taste it. The fruity esters are just,
They
punch
pop.
in the face.
oh, yeah.
So James, you're going to be the logistics manager behind this to make sure we don't. We'll do it at the brew room. And,
Yeah.
and I'm put you in charge of the
Put Justin
logistics.
in charge of labeling.
But the brew room doesn't have a pool.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
we
Got to get a
We
trough
gotta do
like
it
I
here.
have.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come and help though.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do it.
All right,
We'll let
we should
Lana-
make a commitment to doing this. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Deal. That's
And
what
we're going to use what yeast?
I mean,
Well, let's do the lager yeast.
the harvest.
Yeah.
So,
the
but you don't think we should mix yeast?
I know.
No,
You can,
I think,
but I.
No.
I don't think we need to. I think
Yeah.
we need to do the same yeast,
Yeah.
the same hops, the same grain bill,
Yep.
Yeah.
and do regular lagering temps in the conical, and then we do a room temp pressure,
Yeah.
and then a hot pressure.
No, I'm thinking that the yeast
James,
probably
that's what I think
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
seems to me like the yeast has got to be changing things a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if this yeast truly is like a Voss yeast, I mean, that's the yeast that if you do it in an IPA, it makes it taste like orange juice.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's.
it makes sense that it
does
would
make
taste different.
It
right?
makes sense. Absolutely.
Let's try it.
I
But here's the reason why I would think you guys out there would like us to do a lager warm. It's because a lot of you guys out there complain that you don't have the facilities or the equipment to do a lager. But if we can prove to you that those conicals, we can agree, are pretty cheap.
Yeah.
very accessible.
Money-wise.
Very
And
accessible.
I mean, if you compare the difference, if it works lagering with this kind of fermentation with pressure versus the equipment cost to go up to what we're doing as regular lagering, then this could be a whole different deal. We may have more people wanting to. You guys out there may want lager recipes.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. So yeah,
that's my vote. I think we ought to try to.
we can either use the 3470 or we can get harvest. We can.
Oh yeah, my opinion would be if we could do harvest, I want to
So
do harvest.
I'll reach out to them and see. They'll just send us.
But this time of year, it's hot. I mean, it was 111 today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Even with an ice pack, and let's be honest, shipping has not been
pour in
great.
IPA?
So
Sure. Yeah, we have 2 of them, right?
We do. So if y'all hand me your alt beer glasses, I'll get y'all the IPA we know. And if you want to get your
I'm going to get rid of these, right?
So you've got your bottle that we can just split
Yep. Yeah, we can split it 4 ways.
in little
Yeah.
cups. Everybody can, I guess, take their own cup.
We are back after pouring the IPAs. The one in the bitter glass is this month's recipe, actually. It's the
Sweet.
Kveik Smash. Hold it up there to that camera, Mr. Burns. Lower, right there. Look at that. That is a hazy looking. It's not.
that's a good looking.
It's trying to.
Draft.
It looks juicy
Boy,
to
it
me.
smells
I don't-
good.
It does smell good.
Citra.
That's
Citra.
Oh, God.
too much foam.
That's terrible. No. Oh. We're going to send that to our members?
Yeah. We just everyone dropped.
I can't believe you just did that.
It's his floor. He wouldn't have
I
done
had a
that.
bucket right there.
Did you? Oh, dude.
I hope I didn't get any on you.
So to recap while y'all are tasting it before y'all give your thoughts on it, this was the one we did with Kveik. It was an IPA. You used Citra and Mosaic? Or no,
Just Citra.
It was a smash.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're sending out.
Smash, yes.
It's just Citra.
100% Maris Otter.
Maris Otter, that's what we're sending out. And in the garage, like we brewed it. We put it in a bucket after we pitched Loki.
Wow, I
and
really like that.
And we just threw it in a garage.
We pitched Loki, and we pitched Loki right into the fermenter as we were dumping it in there at 100 degrees.
100 something.
Yeah, 'cause
Wow.
who cares? Yeah.
Now, what I like about it, I'll start off the conversation.
Wait a minute. You said earlier you didn't like it.
No, I didn't. I said what I like about this IPA
okay.
is that it's not a punch you in the face.
Right.
No, it's very
subtle.
It's a balanced IPA.
Yeah, and a lot of places would call it a pale ale. I mean,
That's what Todd called
yeah.
it.
Yeah, man, I like that.
See, that's
Yep.
one. That's one that we can enjoy.
Yes,
I can
yes.
enjoy this at the pool later.
If this
today.
is an IPA, I'm an IPA guy.
Yeah.
You're back.
So tell them what you don't like about it, because I found it very interesting.
What did I say I didn't like about it?
That it was too juicy.
Oh no, I said it's a little juicier than I would like it, but the hops weren't that great. I mean,
that's great.
The hops weren't that strong, is what I said. What?
Yeah, what's the ABV?
What do you
on
think I
this?
said?
It's around 6.
Yeah,
Oh, and I don't like that, but
yeah. It was
back it down, tone it down on the ABV, and it'd be really good beer.
I don't know exactly
Well, it
what
wouldn't
it is
necessarily be
because
Todd
better. It
didn't
just
do-
wouldn't get you
Yeah, we-
drunk.
Hey,
Yeah, but
I know
that's
this
better.
one is exactly 6.
Can I throw Todd under the bus? You also during transferring when I wasn't here for that, you didn't take any final gravity readings.
It doesn't matter. We have that new machine now.
Oh, so we didn't?
yeah.
Did we
It
use it?
doesn't matter. We don't need it. We don't have to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do you mean you don't have to take final gravity?
Because he's got a machine.
Because we can take a final
yeah, you
gravity
can.
reading. Yeah, we
You just have to degas it.
degas
Yeah.
it, and we take a final.
Yeah.
I do have a final gravity reading on it. Isn't it on the label?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Your handwriting's that of like a first.
I
grader.
do have it written down, but we can do one now. It doesn't matter anymore.
I thought the carbonation would mess it up.
That was
You're
a
gonna
pleasant
degas
surprise.
It will. You got to degas it.
Yes, very, very. This is a very good beer.
So now, Jonathan, tell us about the other sample.
So this one I actually brewed the day before I came here to do the brew day with you guys because I just wanted to,
Brew.
make sure I didn't screw it up. I mean, exact same grain bill, 13 pounds of Maris Otter in my case. And I used a different hop combination. And I used dry Voss yeast instead of the Loki yeast because that's what I
It's
had.
got a totally different
Yeah, I mean,
aroma.
it's a different hop
is
entirely.
different,
So, yeah.
Oh well, that's very mild too.
it is. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that finish on it.
Yeah.
The finish is very.
So that's Citra for sure. And this one is a different hop.
Which
blend
one did you
entirely.
use?
I used a blend from Yakima Chief called Veterans Blend.
Oh, veteran. Okay.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what do they draw?
It's got
from?
like 4 or 5 different hops. It depends on the year. I don't even
Oh,
remember. what it
okay.
was.
Yeah.
I just had it. So
No, it's
That's a very excellent,
And what did
very
you-
good beer.
What did you turn it around in? What was the time from brew day to dispensing?
a week.
Wow.
And I think that's kind of the appeal, right, of doing this. These weren't pressure, but doing Kveik with an IPA.
I did it at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Did it at
Yeah, if
90
you want to
degrees.
turn and burn, look how clear that is.
Hold on.
So non-pressurized.
So do I now.
90 degrees.
Unpressurized,
Yeah.
90 degrees. What I like to do with these is if you have the ability to pressurize, because we talked about losing the hop aroma and stuff. So let it go at 90 degrees and then start dropping it. Start pressurizing it
Yeah.
at the end of fermentation. So keep it at 90, build some pressure, start dropping it because you need pressure in your fermenter. Remember, you can't have a sealed fermenter at 0 psi,
Right.
and then cold crash it. You will collapse your fermenter.
Yeah.
So you need to have some pressure in that fermenter. So do it at the very end of fermentation. Just get some pressure in there. Start the cold crash. Add your dry hops, and then cold crash it the rest of the way, and then there you go.
Booyah.
Yeah.
I like that. What would you, we waited 3 weeks because of timing for all of this
Yeah.
logistics, but like hypothetically, the quickest you turn it around, if you didn't care about presentation with an IPA, you're not expecting it to be crystal clear.
Right.
Or what's like your favorite to go to for these, like a Voss to get it very citrusy, turn it around in 5 days?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy
If you pressurize it in the fermenter as you're cold crashing it, yeah. Because then you can send it straight to a keg and it's ready to drink.
And before you got here, we actually showed a video. We shot a video with him showing about fermenting in a keg and doing it either under pressure or not under pressure if you don't want to, and even serving from it. So yeah, that lends itself to what we're talking about today with how we brewed and all that.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
turn
we've
it on
actually
quick.
done. We did a Kolsch in 7 days.
You did, and that was
The
using deeper.
traditional way. So
Oh, yeah?
we were using imperial yeast. Brewed the beer on a Friday. It was done. We cold crashed on a Monday. And then I kegged it on a Friday and carbonated it, and we were drinking.
I remember,
Yeah.
and it was delicious.
And this guy did double batches one day. He did a Kolsch early in the morning and did a second Kolsch. And by the time he was cleaning the equipment on the second, the first batch was fermenting.
Started bubbling. Yeah.
Which funny enough, and we're floored by that. Just is a testament to how imperial yeast works.
it's
They
amazing
cram
stuff.
2 billion cells into their patch.
200
200 billion.
There's only 2 billion in his pack. So.
They're little.
Talk about lag time.
I was surprised by how many people show me videos of them throwing it in the garage and doing like 3470 even, and an hour and a half later, like look at it go, like it's crazy talk, man. We're in a weird.
Well, no doubt. Yeast love heat, and they love the.
It makes sense. I mean, the traditional yeast that have been used in Germany for 500 years, there's a reason that yeast worked because they stuck it in a cellar, and that was the temperature in the cellar. So the yeast over 500 years selected for 60 degrees or whatever. But we have technology now. We can do things at different temperatures.
It wasn't until they had the advent of refrigeration where there was leaps and bounds on yeast in breweries and cleaner tasting Pilsners and all of that. But Bavaria, they knew what they were doing when it comes to beer.
They did.
Well, I really like both of these. I like this one. To me, is almost tastes like a little drier, which I love dry beer. So
There you
I
go.
do too.
That's that finish I'm talking
and
about.
this has more of the juicy you talked about.
Yeah, and
That's what I
like
like
about
Citra
it.
hop.
Yeah, I really like this one. I like both of them. I think probably, you brewed both of them, so I can't offend you.
Right.
I like that
And the
one.
reason
I like both of them, though.
The
They're
reason
really
we did
both
it
good.
this month too is because the people in our Trub Club brewing it
This
can
is excellent.
do it in the garage and it's going to finish out quicker, or they could do it at standard ale temps and get the same delicious
Yes.
result.
And you can, I don't know what you ended up I don't know how you finalized the hop schedule on this, but if you're a person who wants more bitterness, I think, is it 4 ounces of Citra?
3.
3? Okay. Yeah. So if you want more bitterness, put more hops in the boil. Put 2 ounces at 60 minutes and put 1 ounce later.
There you go.
Yeah, but just be careful because less is always more when it comes to hot bitters.
Yes, particularly. I think the way we did it doesn't have any in the 60, does it? Or
No, it does. It does.
Okay,
It has-
I'm thinking of the one I brewed.
This one had an ounce in the 60, a half at 10 minute, and then a half 2 days later.
It
Dry
doesn't
hop.
taste to me like it had any at the 60.
Yeah.
This one. That's
Late edition
interesting.
hops. So here's my advice to you guys out there: if you're building recipes and you're wanting to make your own beer, hops are a big deal on drinkability. It's a defining difference. I'm talking bitterness. I'm not talking about aromas and flavor. But if you want to experiment with more hops, always do later additions and do a Whirlpool hop addition. Don't really play around with the bitterness side because that literally can be the difference between a beer you want to drink and one you just can't stand.
Well, unless you're a big IPA guy that loves hops and loves
Jonathan over
bitter.
there.
I mean, some people are going to be like, we should put all 4 in at the same time.
But
can do that.
My whole point on all of this is it's always better to do less if you're working on a recipe.
As you go
Building up a recipe.
And building up into something because you just don't want a hot bomb that you can't drink.
Yeah. Yeah, my comment was more for somebody who knows what they like. Because if you go into this expecting something like, I don't know, what's a big IPA? Yellow Rose here in Texas, or
I have one in there.
Bell's Two Hearted. I mean, that is not what this is. This is not a hop bomb IPA.
No,
This
it's
is
not a Pliny the Elder.
no, nothing like that. But if that's something you like, just move those hop additions further back in the boil. And you'll get more. You will get more hop bitterness.
Absolutely.
For sure.
The longer the boil, the more the bitterness. Look at your IBUs and use that brewing software. That's there. That's there to help you have a successful recipe.
We're wrapping up.
It
Oh no, but I'm
works.
going to let it start decarbing.
Okay. Just right in the middle of recording. That's nice.
Yeah.
How old is that?
A year and a half. So I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, as he's doing that and whatever he wants to do, we'll wrap up this show, guys.
Yep.
So we're committing to actually. Todd's not going to have anything to do with the labeling in the future, so that he can't drag anyone under the bus with him. And we will do a better Pilsner. We'll let James make the recipe, and we'll let you decide the hops and all that, because
Yeah, I can do that.
you're the lager king at our office,
But I'm not a hop bomb guy.
No. That's why we're doing the lager test. And we're going to do it with the same yeast, but in the closet, with glycol, and in the garage under pressure, and we'll compare that.
Because I think the goal is if you can produce a lager under room temp, even higher temperatures, then a lot of people will say, well, I can do that.
Yes, sir.
And I don't have to have fermentation.
That's when I started doing them, because I didn't want to tie up my fermenter for weeks and weeks and weeks,
Yeah.
So,
So, hey, if you're available when we get to that taste test,
Absolutely.
we'll have Jonathan back on to do it, because then we can still say, look, you convinced us. We can do this.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Okay, before we go, this is something Todd bottled a year and a half ago. Pour a little bit.
Yeah, so this is it was always been overcarbonated. I was showing y'all how it was coming up.
It is super bright. I mean, look at that. It looks like it's been filtered.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
hold it up to
Yeah,
the
that's
camera.
pretty
Look
bright.
at that.
Very nice.
That's a grapefruit pale. That was last month's recipe
Oh, yeah, very nice.
for the Trump.
Oh, we did do that last month.
We did.
Because I just brewed it, yeah.
And this is a good beer.
So,
If this guy who doesn't really like IPAs, look, he pounded both of
see?
those. So,
Yeah. It's all about the bitterness.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, with that said, we're going to keep drinking. We're actually going to be filming episode 290 as well, if
crap.
we don't follow. And that's why I told you to slow down. You don't listen to me. This is the worst. Anyways, but
We can make
guys,
this 290.
Yeah, no. This is
289?
289. This is this week's. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, thank y'all for your time. I look forward to continue drinking and
See you in a few minutes.
See you in a few minutes. And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page. Or now you can call them in by using 325-305-6107. Thank you to our friends at Imperial Yeast for giving us free premium yeast with our recipes when you join our Chop Club. So go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.